Kris here, another quick tip for you all. In this video, we are going to continue our look at painting a Necromunda Goliath model. And as you can see, the flesh has already been done, as well as the armor. And so in this video, we are going to work on the iron portions of the armor, which is on the van braces, which is the forearm parts, and the shin guards, as well as his little metallic collar and that metallic doodad that's on his back. I guess that's the stim injector or something like that, we would imagine. Inked by Darkness and Lead Belcher with a bit of Abaddon Black. We are going to mix these. We're going to mix, basically, we're going to take a large portion of Lead Belcher, a large portion or equal measure of Inked by Darkness, and about half that of Abaddon Black. So if you are pretty consistent with your paint mixtures and grabbing the paint and mixing them, and you can kind of get what I mean by that by just adding basically just a little dollop of the black, just to deepen up the color just a bit. And basically what we're going for here is this kind of off bluish color of metallic. Again, it's fairly dark. This is what we want. We want to have a nice dark metallic on these areas. Again, because we're looking for a bit of contrast, because again, the flesh on the model is so bright, and the armor is kind of a mid-tone almost. It's really dark, but it's not all the way dark, whereas this metal is going to start off very, very dark. And you see here, we're just simply applying this to the van braces, the shin guards, as well as his necklace and such. A necklace, it's a collar, it's a spike collar of some sort. And so you can see there how it still has a nice metallic little shine, but it's still got that hint of that Inked by Darkness in there, which is really fun. Mournfang Brown is next with a little bit of Alami and Medium. We are also going to add 2 drops of Liquitex Floaid. I didn't bother showing the bottle on that because it's fairly common for me to use this when I'm doing this technique, which is breaking this down into a shade wash. We're going to take this, and basically what we're going to do here is we are going to begin applying this to the metal areas so that we're going to get the foundation of a rust buildup on these portions. Again, because these guys are underhive gangers, they're working with scrap and junk and who knows else. And so basically these iron portions of their armor, maybe they're, a little bit rusty and dirty and corroded and, who knows, right? It's whatever we can imagine, I guess, is really what I'm getting at here. And so you can see here, we're just simply applying it, allowing it to build up just a little bit in the recesses here and there. And of course, the little back doodad thing, we just basically let it build up around those portions as well. We'll set that aside, allow it to dry. And then next, we're going to come in Troll Slayer Orange and basically another heavy helping of Lamy and Medium with 2 drops of Liquitex Floaid right there. You can see it. And then, of course, 4 drops, I think, I use of Medium. And then I mix into the little dollop of paint until I get to the consistency that I like. And then I begin applying it to the model. And here it is, we're gonna apply this into the corners. We're gonna try and concentrate this more into the corners and some little interesting areas. Again, kind of, so that we have like the rust is accruing in the recesses of the armor. It's not just a broad kind of rusting that we have occurring onto the model here. We're going for some of the little more interesting points, and we really don't want to just lay it on heavily. You see it's kind of heavy there, but I just come in, wipe the excess off my brush, and then draw the excess out of the area. But otherwise, just to throw those little hints of color back into there, again, because we want to create some visual interest. We're going for something kind of interesting here on these guys. We're not going to do these guys in the typical fashion we see normally on the box arts and things like that. We're going to do things a little differently. So once that's dry, we're going to come in with some Lead Belcher. Again, that was our initial color, but again, you can see how in comparison to our previous mixture of it, is how it's a lot brighter, and you would think, ooh, Lead Belcher, quite dark. But you can see we're going to dry brush this, and just very, very lightly, you can see how just barely the model is just moving under my pressure of my brush. And of course, if you find the model moving too much under your pressure of your dry brushing, you are dry brushing too heavily. Always be mindful that dry brushing is a very subtle technique, and the more subtle you are, the more control you end up having on these areas. Here I'm simply using an older base coating brush, kind of like using like a small dry brush here, and I'm just basically catching the high points on the little doodad that's on his back. I think it's a stim injector or something like that, right? And so you can see here we can capture just the high points of the collar and such. It just allows us to be a little bit more precise in our dry brushing, as it were. But that is it. That is the iron armor on a Goliath from Necromunda. Well, I hope you found that quick tip useful and informative. You can watch another quick tip today on MiniWarGaming.com's Vault. Just click on the link in the video description below to watch it right now. If you're not already a Vault member, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial. Be sure to sign up for the Silver membership, and that will give you instant access to over 1,000 painting tutorials already in our Vault. And again, thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing, and happy wargaming.